Win a Pageant, Episode 40. If you're serious about winning your pageant, send me an email at alycia@winapageant.com to schedule an interview to see if you qualify for my VIP coaching program. Hey girl, welcome to another episode of Win a Pageant. I'm your coach, Alycia Darby, and in this episode, we are bringing it all the way back to the basics. I am literally going to teach you about what a pageant really is, and I'm even going to give you a brief history of early pageants. So we're going to learn the main elements of pageants, like what is involved in each one of them. And I'm going to give you a brief history of pageants so that you have some background for when people ask you, why are you doing a pageant or what's that about? You can really be prepared with these answers. So let's jump in. The main elements of pageants. A pageant is essentially a competition resulting in a crown and a title. So a crown and a title of some type. Now the crown can be different. Some of them get tiaras, some of them get all the way around crowns and fancy things, a sash or a scepter, like all this wild stuff. But essentially it's something like that and a brand new title. Okay. It's subjective. Now, this is good and bad. Good because it actually makes sense to be judging people subjectively from the whole spirit of the person that they're bringing. Bad because it's really not that cut and dry. An objective competition is one where the person with the most points wins. Okay, so that's essentially where it's obvious if the ball goes through the hoop in a basketball game. But in pageantry, it's not so obvious because it's subjectively based on people's opinions, the people being the judges in the audience. So subjective judgment. Okay, the next is that the stages of competition vary. Most of them include a gown competition, an interview portion, whether it's on stage or private interview, fitness, some others have like swimsuit or something along those lines, and then it might include other areas. Other common areas would be talent, fun fashion, photogenic, casual wear, on-stage modeling, things like that. So there are several stages of competition in a pageant. It is typically a year-long commitment, so usually after you win, you have one entire year. Now, that seems like a long time, but really it goes very quickly. You only have a year, so as soon as something passes you up, there's no redoing it. But it is a full year-long commitment. There are several different pageant systems. We call them systems in the industry, and those are the different pageants. So like Miss America is a pageant system, USA, International, Miss Galaxy, National American Miss, American Teenager, Miss World, Miss Earth, the list goes on and on and on. Basically, those systems can be broken down into various divisions or phases of the competition, okay? So different divisions would be the age ranges. So there might be a little miss, junior miss, there's maybe a teen, the Miss America system calls it outstanding teen. It might be miss, there's sometimes Ms., and Mrs. So there's a variety of different divisions, and not all systems have every division. Each system has a different set of divisions, and sometimes they even call them different names, but basically they're the age breakdown. Okay, now let's jump into a brief history for you, okay? I promise not to bore you with this history. It's actually kind of fascinating. So the first pageant ever was in 470 BC, and this is a pageant, I consider it a pageant because Esther is of a Bible story, and she basically won a beauty pageant and became an actual queen. The story is that Esther was a Jewish woman, and the king at the time was looking for a queen. So he invited all of the women in that area to come to his castle to march around so he could pick his favorite. I know it sounds horrible, but at the time, I suppose it made sense. So Esther is among one of the women who is in this pageant. And the king sees her beauty and absolutely just falls head over heels for her, chooses her as his queen. And so she, in fact, became a real life queen. Now, the story gets awesome when the area of, during that time, the community was really going through major political turmoil. And Esther was the one, as a Jewish woman, she was able to speak out on behalf of the rest of the Jews. And she actually saved her entire nation of people because of the position that she held. And believe me, in the story, it talks about how she's terrified. And believe me, I'm sure you've been there. I know I've been there when you've had a huge calling to take on the role of something like Miss America or Miss USA or something really serious that's a role that you need to step into, you are meant for that job. The Bible says, for such a time as this. Like, this is what your job is. You were given the title of queen to do this for your people. Ah, what a cool story. That's my favorite pageant story ever. So take a look at it. That's really the first beauty pageant. Okay, but then in somewhat more modern, in 1839, there's an actual pageant held for what's called the Queen of Beauty. That's the title that was given. And this was actually held at a jousting tournament. And it actually took a group of women in the local community, and an actual queen, a woman who was a queen, won the title of Queen of Beauty. That was in 1839. Okay, so the oldest pageant that's still running today is, you can guess it, the Miss America pageant. And that first pageant happened in 1921. It hosted a group of local newspaper beauty contestants. So beauty contestants in newspapers, that was a popular thing back in the day. But this was the first time that they brought all of those contestants to Atlantic City, New Jersey, with the idea that if they can hold this pageant, they'll get more and more people to extend the travel season to Atlantic City, New Jersey. And in fact, it worked. There were over 100,000 people that attended this very first pageant. And a 16-year-old girl won, Margaret Gorman. She was from Washington, D.C., and she was crowned, and she actually won $100. Congratulations, Margaret. A 16-year-old won Miss America. Ah. So now Miss America, of course, has grown and changed and become shaped in a million different ways. But now the award for the scholarship dollars is $20,000. Huge difference. Then, shortly after, in 1952, there was a pageant called Bathing Beauty. And this was a competition that was spearheaded by Catalina Swimwear. It was in Long Beach, California, and it absolutely transformed pageantry because now it really took pageants to, instead of just being, a beautiful person selected or something that was designed to really elongate charitable causes and things like that, this was now a money-making pageant. Now, as you can imagine, this turned in later to the Miss USA and Miss Universe organization. So these two pageants, this is why these two are the most common pageants that we talk about today, because they are the longest running pageants. Now, since then, many other pageants have kind of crept up, and those are the things that we talk about, like the Galaxy pageant, the International pageant, National American Miss. Many more are still kind of creeping up today because they still empower women in a variety of ways. And that, my dear, is how you win a pageant. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time. Hey there, I'm Alycia Darby, and I just want to say thank you so much for watching that last video. If you totally loved it and got something from it, would you just click subscribe right here to subscribe to our YouTube channel? Hey, I am here for you, and I've got so many more trainings and videos for you. In fact, this one would be a really great one to watch next. Or if that topic doesn't interest you, then try this one. It's my most recent video training. So I think both of these would be really great for you. Thank you again so much for subscribing. I am honored to be your coach. I'll see you again soon.